Well, hello. I'm Corey from Path of Friendship, and welcome back to our 30th and our final Mindful Mutt Moments. 30 days of lockdown, 30 Mindful Mutt Moments. I can't believe we've done 30 of these, and I'm really honored that you've decided to spend a little time with me and sharing the mindful moment with me, and that I share these mindful moments with my dogs. My dog Bodhi here, and there's Bhakti up there, and where's Cecil? Cecil's sleeping over there somewhere. But thank you for spending that time. So let's begin this one the way we begin them all, to just kind of ground ourselves and connect with ourselves in the present and connect with our dogs in the present and just join them on the same plane of experience that they have. So let's take a deep breath in and let it out. And just let all the thoughts and the plans and all that kind of stuff just kind of drift past like clouds drifting past the sky, and really connect just for a moment with our dogs. How they feel, their smell, their touch, their fur, the warmth, the different warmths. Just be with them on their level. It's not about control, it's about just connection with that. And that's really what the whole idea of mindfulness, especially mindfulness is combined with the path of friendship. And I use friendship a lot because I had a teacher who once said, mindfulness is just being friends with the present. And so that's how I always see it, and that's how I always approach it, as a friendship. And that's what we want, obviously, with our dogs. And that's why being mindful with them and being on their level and experiencing it the way they experience things, that's the way to really achieve that friendship, because only when we're on the same page and on the same level can we connect. In fact, mindfulness and being friends with our dogs is not so much about attaining anything or getting somewhere. It really is about getting rid of things that we have inadvertently learned over the years, or have heard, or just our whole approach has changed. They're different than we were as children. Now, I started out when I was very young. I grew up in an area, there were nobody my age, so my friends were my dogs. And we were, at the time, we were friends. We were equals and friends. And we did things together as friends did. Now, I didn't know that I should be in control. These are things that I learned later on. See, that's so much of what this is about. It's about unlearning. It's about stripping and peeling away the things that prevent us from connecting, the barriers that we unintentionally and artificially place between us and our dogs, and the distances that we create that aren't necessarily there. So in this final one, I just want to go over just some of the ideas of what being mindful with our dogs is, what the path of friendship is, and what it's based on, and how you can kind of use it to get back to what you already know, what's already in us, is this connection with us. And it starts with what's known as beginner's mind. Shoshin. It's a Zen term, but it basically means the mind of a child, the mind of a young child who doesn't know enough to categorize and classify and evaluate and judge. It doesn't know enough to say, well, I'm superior and you're inferior. That beginner mind, that's a place of equality. And when we look at our dogs, we must look at them initially and experience them initially with this beginner's mind, without bringing along all this baggage of these preconceived notions and ideas and judgments that we have. And that just clouds our vision. It's like trying to see through a dirty window. All those judgments, that's the dirt and smudge and junk that's on the window. We need to get rid of that. Truth is, it's not there in the first place. And we're children, those windows are so clear. And as we grow and we learn, we put over and over and over more dirt and more stuff, and it keeps going over, and it clouds our judgment. And all we end up seeing are the obstacles there. We only see our dogs by what breed they are. We only see our dogs by what label we've given them or other people have given them. We only see our dogs as what we can get from them. But those are just artificial dirt and artificial barriers and obstacles and things that separate us further. We want to get rid of that separation. We want to get rid of the things that created that in the first place, which was never there. So start off with that sort of beginner's mind, that sort of sense of awe and wonder. As a child would have awe and wonder of these incredible, amazing beings and this incredible relationship that we have with them. Start that way. When we do that, along with that comes this unconditional acceptance and unconditional love for them. And we're often told, dogs are great because they love us unconditionally. But that must be reciprocal for a friendship to really take place. That reciprocal relationship, we must not say, I'll only love you if you obey. We tend to dangle our love and affection sometimes and only pet them and praise them and do things for them only when they are good by obeying. That's conditions. That's putting contingencies on our affection and our love and our feelings. So we have to take that away. There is no contingency. We must love them and accept them for who they are. They are unique. Each dog, each creature is unique in the history of the universe, a combination of events and things that will never, ever, ever happen again in existence. So we have to appreciate them for who they are and accept them for who they are and love them. And remember, love is not just how we feel. Love is what we do. That's very important. So never hold back for the affection. Never tell them, I love you for you, whoever you may be. That builds an enormous amount of security and trust and close attachment and a feeling of invincible, that any storm, anything that happens, we can weather through this if we have that underlying bond of love and connection in there without these conditions. Once we start putting in only love you if, and fill in the blank after if, then it's not really there in the first place. So don't withhold that. Let it out, just as children would let it out. Let it out for your dogs. This unconditional love and acceptance. And part of that is letting them be who they are, giving your dogs a sense of control and autonomy. And I don't even like the saying giving it, because it's not really ours to give. We don't own it. It's not ours to give. It's basically not interfering with it. It's stepping back from it and allowing them to grow and to be who they are and blossom. It's their world too. It's their life too. Their lives are no less important. So they need to be themselves. And when we decide to share our lives with a dog and we have all these ideas, well, you're going to live in this way and I'm going to make you do this, X, Y, and Z, and this control. Well, that doesn't serve them at all. It only serves us. And if we were to have a friendship, a real friendship, it must be based on intrinsic values, that love and that motivation. Not extrinsic, meaning do this or else, or I'll only love you if. We tend to overuse rewards as manipulative tools. And we kind of label that as, positive training because we're using treats. Well, advertisers do that to us too. And so do all those who try to manipulate us. That intent and that desire and that connection that we have must be intrinsic. And once we begin to use rewards or punishment or the carrot and the stick, we're not seeing our dogs at all. We're manipulating them and using them as tools or as employees. And that's not what friends do. They're not bad to use as a way to help get in there. But when we rely on them, and I've even heard it said that that's the way to make a connection. Connection for what? Connection for a business transaction? No, that's a transactional relationship. A friendship is not based on that. And so inevitably, when we let them be themselves, it's going to come into some conflict. We're going to disagree on certain things, which is natural. No two beings in the world will ever live together without there being some friction. But we can use that friction as traction to move forward. Friction is no different. Friction is traction. And if we look at it that way, a way of connecting further and understanding with compassion and communicating how we feel to them with that compassion and understanding how they feel, then we can work those problems out together without resorting to my way or else, or without resorting to dangling treats as far as manipulation in front of them, because that's short-lived. And all that does is isolate us further and separate us further. So when we do that, we create a divide between the controller and the controllee, the boss and the employee. My dogs are not my employees. They're my friends, and we're equals in that. And we work our differences out through that empathic, compassionate means, not through bribery or threats. And part of that is also respecting each other's differences and respecting and learning from each other's wisdom. So my dogs must trust my judgment when it comes to certain things, because as a human, my abilities are wonderful in predicting, in using information from the past and predicting the future. So if I see Bodhi walking into the street and a car is coming, I can predict that if he were to continue to go and not stop, and the car would continue to go and not stop, it could be a very tragic situation. So he must rely and trust my judgment on that. And on the same thing, I must rely and trust his judgment on things that he's good at. As dogs, their ability to engage with the present and their abilities of scent and sight and sound is much more superior to me. So I must also learn to trust him. And if he decides to say, hey, look at this, or stay away from that, or alert me to things, I must take his lead on that, because that's his area of expertise. He has wisdom in that area. I have wisdom in my area. And together as friends, we share it. It's sort of like, it's not like one is more important than the other. You know, I have a heart, I have lungs, I have a brain, sometimes. And they're all very different. My heart is not the same as my lungs. They're very different. Yet I couldn't live without both of them. So which is more important? There isn't. They're different, yet they're equal. And that's how we are with our dogs. So we must trust each other's differences and trust each other's judgments and not look to always be controlling. Because controlling is a distancing process. Connection is not. Connection, we get what we both want, but we get it on an equal level and we get it universally. And the only way to get all of this is to reduce those distances and join together on the same level. And that is being mindful. That is mindful, not just sitting and connecting and feeling and touching our dogs the way we've done for this past month, which is very important, but to carry that through in our everyday existence with them and everyday friendship with them. And to reduce the distances, reduce the separation. We're in this time of social distancing or physical distancing from each other. It's a sad time. It's necessary. But it's upsetting because this that we're talking through Facebook, through these videos, it's nice, but it's not the same as that physical connection there. But we can use this time to become closer with our dogs and to really examine how we distance them from us. And these are all artificial. And it goes back to that beginner's mind when we were a child. They're the same as us. We all have this. This is the thing I must get across. There is no special skill. There is no special ability. I could say, yes, well, I've been doing this for 35 plus years and I have this incredible ability and talent. And a lot of professionals would want to tell you that. They have this ability that you don't. But the truth is we all have it. It's in all of us. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our connection as human beings and dogs. We are two pieces of one whole. So it's natural. It's in there. 500 years ago, there was no such thing as a behavior specialist or a trainer or anything. Yet human beings and dogs lived wonderfully together. So we can all do this. We just have to watch our separation. So see them clearly without labels. Love them without conditions. Let them be who they are. Work out our problems without a boss. Work it out together compassionately. Share each other's wisdom. And at that point, we can really then spend time and connect on these physical, mindful ways to just get into their being and their realm. We spend so much of our time as humans walking around worrying about what's going to happen or what has happened, and we're constantly, our minds are constantly scanning the environment. This is our negativity bias that's built into all our brains, scanning the environment, scanning our thoughts of how to be safe and how to be successful in the future and base it on the past. And it's useful. It's a very, very useful tool. But the tool is a great servant. It's a poor master. We should be more in control of that and use it as tools, and at other times become more like our dogs and just enjoy and connect and be with them in the present moment. They are here for a very short period of time. They are here, average of 1/7 of our lives. That's very short. So every moment is precious. Every moment we have to savor together. And that's where these shared mindfulness comes in. So I hope after these 30 days, that there's little bits that you can kind of take away with this. And all they are just little reminders of what you already know. And just spend some time connecting. Not with intention, not with purpose, not trying to train, just connecting and forming that friendship intrinsically, inner, from the inside out, not trying to make them into puppets or robots. That's the real connection. That's the real mindful moment. And then your whole time that you share your life with your dog, that whole time becomes in itself one beautiful, big, mindful moment. So again, this is Corey from Path of Friendship. Read my blog if you would like. It's pathoffriendship.com. And visit back often. We may be doing some of these other things in the future, in the near future. And look for various different videos and stuff like that. But I really wish you the best and mindful and being friends. Right, Bodhi, you want to say goodbye? You want to wake up? He's not going to wake up. Bhakti's fast asleep over there. Cecil's snoozing over there, so we're going to spend some time together. And thanks. And have a great day. Love your dogs. Spend time with them, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again. Bye.